Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to do a special TV show review as requested by my other brother John because we finally finished Samurai Jack. And I remember going with John and my friend Joe to go watch the first 3 episodes in theaters last fall or winter and being hooked and really wanting to watch the series. I bought John the Samurai Jack Blu-ray collection for his birthday, and we went off and started, and finally, after almost a year of on and off watching this, finally finished it. And I have to say, I was so glad that I did, because I absolutely loved it. Now, I'm going to start by talking about the couple of things that didn't really work for me. And this show, there's a lot of filler. There's a lot of episodes that kind of feel like they're just throw-ins trying to pad how long this show's going to go on. And I feel really sad for those who were super into this show and when it got canceled after its 4th season and being like, I'm never going to get to finish this because the story felt like it just kept dragging out. And it gets repetitive. It's a lot of the creature of the week kind of thing. After a while, it's like, we're going to save this race or this thing. And one of the things that really bothered me was how often it's like Haku, and I'll talk about Haku soon, will pop up, fight Jack, Jack has him dead in the water, and then it's like, ha ha ha, you can't beat me now, samurai, and just runs away. And you never get closer to a conclusion, which I'm going to say, which is why I love the last season so much, is because it actually has perpetual motion towards something and has a through point that it doesn't feel like it's wasting anything, and we're finally getting towards something, and it had some drive to it, and I really appreciated that. And the last bit of thing, this can have really, really obnoxiously methodical pace to it. It has that anime vibe where I feel like a lot of anime have this very, very deliberate pace, and it could be off-putting, and especially it's weird watching animation that way growing up in America because all animation is like boom, boom, boom. Kid pace. This does not have kid pace. And there's some moments, and when it feels repetitive and filler episodes, you can feel the pace a little bit. But, that being said, Genndy Tartakovsky does such an amazing job creating this amazing immersive experience, because this is such a cool idea of this samurai getting shot into the future and trying to go across the lands and saving these creatures. There's so many cool creatures. There's so much thought that went into all of this, and the great ensemble vocal cast of Kevin Michael Richardson, Tara Strong, Tom Kenny, and everybody else that came together and created so many of these characters. Absolutely loved it. And there's so many interesting designs and stories that are told throughout this film, this show. Wow. I'm really caught up on reviewing movies. Sorry. And there's just so many great episodes of so many great stories, these backstories, these interactions that Jack gets to have. And there's some really creative episodes dealing with the history of how this all happened, or Haku has a story time for one of them. And I feel like this show, for all of its repetition, does try to shake things up with certain episodes and really think outside the box. The biggest thing is this show is gorgeous. So beautiful. The animation is amazing. The style, the lighting, how they use colors. There's a whole entire black and white fight in one episode, I believe in the 4th season, that is just awe-inspiring. The action is intense, and the slow motion and the sound effects, everything comes together to make such intense moments. And Jack is such a intriguing and likable protagonist, and you feel for his plight so much. And he is so well portrayed by Phil LaMarr. Phil LaMarr is great in this. He does such a great vocal performance of Jack. and brings a lot of empathy and emotion towards this character. And Haku is one of the best villains. He's hilarious, he's sassy, but he's evil and dark, and he really is intimidating. And Mako does such an amazing vocal performance as Haku, and every time it's like, in the future, that is Haku. And just like every time that intro comes on, I'm just like, I'm so ready. Back to the past, Samurai Jack. And the music is gorgeous and beautiful, just as beautiful as the animation is in this show. And where this story goes and like the characters, I love the Scotsman. Oh my god, every episode that he's in, I absolutely love that. He's so crazy and over the top. And so much fun. And when you finally get to this last season, I loved the last season. And when they went full-blown, like, TVMA and got super violent, super dark, and, like, Mad Max crazy, like, samurai, that was awesome. And then I loved it when it finally settled back into traditional Samurai Jack and came to this endpoint. And the relationships that he builds in that last season and how this all resolves is bittersweet. But I loved it. I thought it was the perfect ending. And took you on such an emotional journey. And I was so happy to finally get there. And this show is great. I recommend this show very strongly. I loved it. And I'm not going to go into spoilers because I don't want to spoil a whole lot of this. Just go out and check it out. Not quite sure where it's streaming. I watched it on Blu-ray. For a while it had been sitting behind me on this shelf, but now it's back with John. It's back with its parent, because it's his. But I absolutely love this show. Go check out Samurai Jack. It's worth your time. There's 13, 13, 13, 13, and 10 episodes in the 5 seasons. They're slightly over 20 minutes each. So if real binging, you could burn through this in not so long. We just stretched it out for a long time, and I'm glad that I finished it. Next up is Avatar: The Last Airbender, because we watch all the animation together. But I love Samurai Jack. Highly recommend. It's worth it. If you really appreciate animation, you're going to love this. And thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.